Hi, this is the business guy with Asset Protection Planners and Lawyers Limited. And in this video, we're going to cover why you don't transfer your assets to mama once you get sued. Some people ask us, can I transfer my assets to my mother or can I transfer them to my kids? Is that an effective asset protection strategy? And the reason it's not is because of this fraudulent transfer or fraudulent conveyance, both meaning the same thing. With a fraudulent conveyance, that's transferring the assets away from the creditor to try to keep the creditor from collecting on a judgment. And if you're watching this on YouTube, if you could transfer your finger, thumb, or mouse down to that like button, I'd really appreciate it so YouTube promotes this video. And you can also click the subscribe button so that when more videos come out like this, you'll be up to date right away. Now here's what happens if you try to transfer assets to mama. Let's say you have a house or rental property that's unprotected. Let's say you have money that's unprotected, and you transfer that to your kids or to mama or to somebody else, another family member, relative, friend, whatever it is, you will get a fraudulent conveyance ruling. So what will happen is the opposing counsel will subpoena your bank records. They'll ask you what you have and what you had. When they see the bank records and they see that you transferred assets from your personal account to somebody else's account, then they will start investigating to see if it was done within a certain time period. In some cases, it can be 10 years. In some cases, it can be 7 years. In some cases, it can be 5 years. So it depends on the jurisdiction, the asset, whether it's bankruptcy court or just a normal civil case. But the key thing is they're going to look for fairly recent asset transfers. If you transfer it to a family member, now that's easy for the judge to seize the money from a bank account that's in the name of your family members. However, keep in mind, by and large, a fraudulent transfer is not as scary as it sounds. Now, if we say the word fraud, that means tricking somebody out of their money. That's one thing. If we say fraudulent conveyance or fraudulent transfer, both meaning the same thing, that means that you move the money away from the creditor's ability to reach it easily. That is by and large a civil matter. Even California, that have added some semblance of criminal elements to a fraudulent conveyance. The key thing there is it has intent, very specific intent. Not to say that you should take it lightly, but the key thing is, let's say you set up an international asset protection trust, like the offshore trust, see our videos on Cook Islands Trust, for example. The judge may rule fraudulent transfer, fraudulent conveyance, but in that case, it's just words on a paper. They can't do anything bad to you, okay? So in that case, if you have your money in an international trust, whether international law firm / trustee, where they can step in to protect you, they just have a piece of paper that says fraudulent conveyance, but they can't access the funds. But if somebody makes the mistake of transferring the assets to mama or kids or friend or relative or buddy or a company that you pretend like you don't own, the fraudulent conveyance in that case is enforceable because typically in those cases, the assets are still within the judge's reach. Now, it's not just a matter of moving money to another country, because if you move the money to another country, they can subpoena those records, they'll see the wire transfer, they say, bring it back, you're the signature on the account, bring it back, or you're going to be held in contempt. But by putting the assets into an international trust, we're talking about liquid assets in this case, in that case, it is the trustee / law firm internationally, typically in the Cook Islands where we establish most of the trusts. In that case, it's our law firm that's not complying, but they don't have to comply because they're not under the U.S. judge's jurisdiction, right? And in addition to that, the funds are held in a nice, safe, secure international bank in Switzerland, some of the safest banks in the world. And there's a Cook Islands bank that we utilize, some Caribbean banks. In fact, if you type in Google, go ahead and do this for yourself, the safest banks in the world. Of the top 50 safest banks, only about 5 are U.S. banks, and they're all without exception at the bottom half of the list. So if you're deluded into thinking, like many people are, that U.S. banks are safe and the offshore banks are dangerous, well, think again. Because when you look at the safest banks in the world, very few of those banks are in the U.S. Again, all on the bottom half of the list. Only one of those banks is a major national bank, but that's ranked number 50 out of 50. The other 4 U.S. banks are small regional farming banks. So the safest banks in the world are by far located outside the U.S., not inside. So the key thing is if you fraudulently transfer assets to a relative, they will sue the relative. They'll sue mama. They'll sue your kids. They'll sue your buddy. They'll sue whoever you transfer the assets to and get the assets away from them. And that will not be a happy day on Thanksgiving. So the key thing is don't use fraudulent conveyance as an asset protection method because it simply won't work. You need to utilize the proper legal tools and internationally with an international offshore asset protection trust with our law firm / trustee. I've been doing this for 30 years. Our company is Lawyers Limited. Asset Protection Planners is one of our websites. You can visit it. You can fill out a free consultation form. You can do research on our website, or you can call the number on our website and get more information. So I hope this helps. I hope that clarifies what you can and cannot do when you're in a lawsuit. If you have a judgment, you have creditors coming after you. So thanks for watching. Please click like, subscribe, and share this video with others. This is the Business Guy.